Welcome, all you people. We're glad to have you with us this afternoon. This is Tuesday afternoon, the 12th of October of 2021, and I'm Don Snow here in St. George, Utah, where it's not snowing. And Gerhard Roof is our host, and he's up north in Orem, where it's not snowing up there yet, they said, but you're supposed to get a bunch of snow. But in between the two places, they're supposed to get between 1 and 2 feet of snow in the mountains around here. Today, our topic is on the Heritage Quest Online. This is part one. We'll do a couple more of these later on because it's a gold mine of a website and it's free for everybody. You get to it through your public library, and we'll talk about that, how you do that here in a little bit. Today, we're going to be talking about the U.S. Revolutionary War pension records, which they have online. Ancestry actually runs this, and the data is from the National Archives and Records Administration. And so there's bunches of good stuff available on here. Now, here's a kind of an outline of the topics that we'll be looking at today. We'll be looking at the Heritage Quest Online itself, the website, and how you get to that. And I mentioned that it's free, and you use your library card for any public library. Most of them in the U.S. are available, and I'll show you how to do that with any library card here in the state of Utah. You use your public library card barcode that's on the card itself. The Revolutionary War pension records are on there, and there's something like 80,000 records, 80,000 individuals, military people that were involved in the Revolutionary War, and it's who applied for the pensions for them. So you find their kids and grandkids, and there's hundreds of thousands of names, 80,000 military, but many, many more, hundreds of thousands of names that are in there. We'll talk a little bit about searching and how you search it. And I'll show you some searches that I've done for some of my ancestors that might be in there, and what time periods to look for and so on. Then how do you do screenshots or save it off? And we'll look at some examples of what you can do with the stuff. Now, the class notes are that's the same website. So if you've watched any of my classes before, there's the URL for the classes. And if you forget what that URL is or you can't get to it, just go to uvtagg.org. That's Utah Valley Technology and Genealogy Group.org. And then look for resources, and you'll find under resources, you'll find a link to exactly this link itself. That has all the notes from all my past classes and links to where you can watch the videos that are recorded. And Gerhard is recording this one, and it'll be available online afterwards as well. Now, we want to look at some examples and demos and spend most of the time looking at those. So let me change here to show you my notes and actually show you what they look like. When you click on that, when you click on the link that's in there, this is the page that you get to, Don Snow's class notes page. And on here are the links to all the different pages that I've got. There's a Freeware Corner articles page that Marilyn Thompson, who's on here and is the editor for our newsletter, she publishes these every month and does a wonderful job of editing the newsletter, and members of the UV Tag get that. And if you want to join UV Tag, you don't have to attend any of these classes, but if you want to, then you get the newsletter and bunches of other stuff, and it's really worthwhile. As you scroll down on here, you get to there are links right here that tell you the links, how to watch my classes or any of the classes from UV Tag on either Facebook. This is being recorded and showing on Facebook right now, as well as on Zoom. And there's the link on Zoom. We always use the same link for these classes on Zoom, but for the Saturday meetings that we have, there is a different one. Here's the classes coming up. And I've selected the dates, but not the topics yet for the classes in the month of November and December. Here's today's item number 1 here, Heritage Quest Online Part 1, Revolutionary War Pension Records. And 2 weeks from today, we'll talk about Heritage Quest Online Part 2 on books. I got a lot of books, really helpful stuff. Here's the past classes with the notes, etc. On there. Now, let me, if you click on the link for the notes, it takes you to this. I've already downloaded it, or yeah, changed it so it's here. So here's the outline for the notes for today. There's an abstract of what we're going to be talking about and what Heritage Quest Online is. Here's the welcome and the introduction, and here's the problem for today as to what we're going to be doing. We want to talk about what is Heritage Quest Online, how do you use it, and what are the Revolutionary War pension records that are on there. Now, here's this item, this big paragraph with all this stuff is about what Heritage Quest Online is. This was started by ProQuest, and there's some articles here on item 8 that lists some articles and links to them that will give you the history of Heritage Quest Online as to where it started. It was started by ProQuest many years ago, and they got the data from the microfilms from NARA, the National Archives and Records Administration, and they digitized all that stuff and put it online and made it available to libraries. So you can't subscribe to it yourself, but a library can. And many libraries have it available through their website so that their patrons can use it at no charge through their website. And it's available at all family history centers. So that's if you live near a family history center and you can't get to it anywhere else, you can always get to it through there. But most states in the US have actually subscribed to it. A lot of public libraries have, but many states have, so that anybody in the whole state with a public library card from any city in the whole state can use it. And here's the link in here. Item 7 lists the link for Utah. If you click on that, it takes you to, which we will here in a minute, it takes you to the online library, and then whatever your library card is from the public library, any place in the state, and I've got a public library card from here in Washington County, St. George is in Washington County. I've got one from Provo because I'm still a snowbird, and one from the Orem Library. Any one of those three works. And so wherever you happen to live, if you're in Utah, that link will get you there. If you're out of Utah, then and you want to get to this, there are lots of other libraries that have it available, and many states that have a link like the one here in Utah. In one of those articles, I think it's 8B. No, that's the history of it. It's 8A. Our article 8A here. There's some articles in the Family Search Research Wiki that list libraries and state libraries that have it. And so, and if you can't find it there, just do a Google search for Heritage Quest Online and your state, and you may be able to find it. Now I'm going to click on, well, let's see, is there anything else I want to say about this before we click? It's powered by ProQuest, but well, it's sponsored by ProQuest, but powered by Ancestry. I don't know what that means. But you click on things and Ancestry gets involved. You see National Archives listed on there. You see Ancestry and bunches of other stuff. And we'll look at some of that a little bit later on. It describes what's in the records and so on. All right, I'm going to hold down my control key while I click on that link, the link for the Utah one. And now right here is the link for the Utah one. So any of you that live in the state of Utah and you have a public library card, you can get to it by this link. It's the Utah's online public library. And I've actually gone a couple of steps into the Utah Public Library so that it's here, and so that this takes you directly to Heritage Quest Online. You scroll down a little bit here and it tells you a little bit about the history of it and what it is and what kind of records they have available. I'm going to go right on past this. That's where you type in your library card number. I'll come back to that in a minute. Here's what the core databases are. And see, these are some of the things we'll be talking about in other classes. Census records, they've got all the US censuses and the Canadian censuses. They're all free. And the military records, that's what we're going to look at today. Wills and probates, books, another one we're going to look at. Various city directories, bunches of city directories. That's fairly new. Since the last time I taught this class, they put that on here. U.S. Serial records, that's government records and so on. Anyway, you'll see some of that stuff a little bit later on. So to get into it, into the website, anybody can get this far, but then to get into the website itself, I'm clicking on that Use Your Library card. Click on that, and it takes you to this Pioneer thing, which is the name of the Utah Library. Heritage Quest Online says, please enter your library barcode in Pioneer Access. And there's I've already typed it in. And when I save this, it saves my barcode so that I don't have to do that again. As I recall, this is my library barcode for Provo, my Provo library card, but it works for Orem and Provo and Washington. Those are the three that I happen to have, but any place in the state would work. Click log in right there, and it'll take you in. So it remembers. I don't have to type this in every time. It remembers this because I saved this website with my library card in it. So now we're in. Here's Heritage Quest Online. Discover your family history today. Search, research aids, and maps. And I haven't looked at that maps. That's something else I need to look at because that might be worth a class on sometime. Welcome to Heritage Quest Online at the library. And here's city directories and census records and all that sort of thing. Mortality schedules, that's all kinds of stuff. Here's for example, here's the census records. Look, U.S. Census records. There's right up to the 1940 census. All of them are in here. Even the 1890 census. There's only a little bit of that because most of it was burned or destroyed afterwards. And so, but there's a little bit, so they've even got a place for the 1890 census. And you can click on those and do searches and so on. Here's the Canadian censuses in there. I'm scrolling on down on the web page on the Heritage Quest. Here's the search the censuses thing. Here's the search the books. That's subject for 2 weeks from today. Here's the search for Revolutionary War records. That's where we're going to spend our time today. And this is something new I haven't seen before either. Search U.S. obituaries. So I got to look and see what that is, because ProQuest is part of newspapers. I think it's newspapers.com. And that's a big website with a lot of newspapers. And I don't know what obituaries are in there, but that might be worth our while looking at sometime too. Okay, so search Revolutionary War. Let's just scroll down a little bit further and you see, well, that's the end of it. So I'm going to click on this thing, search Revolutionary War. So right there, I'm clicking and it's open. Oh, by the way, I've got this reversed, the colors reversed because my eyesight is getting so bad. I better, you don't have that problem. So I'm going to change this back to the kind of stuff that you're used to looking at. This is that, by the way, that thing I was using is a Chrome extension that changes the colors and invert the colors, and I find it a lot easier to look at white text on black background. So I leave it set that way, but for everybody else, most of you, you'd rather see it this way. So here's the Revolutionary War pension and bounty land warrant application files. They put the dates 1800 to 1900 in here. Now, the Revolutionary War in the U.S. was 18 something. It was over around 1889, wasn't it? Something like that.
17.
Yeah, 1789. So the kids, so anybody who was in the military, if they were 20, 30 years old then, they would have lived into the 1800s, and then their kids could have still applied for the benefits of their spouse or their wife or their kids later. And so you might find people clear up to the 1900s in here. Now, I think I put in my notes 1800 to 1850, but they put 1800 to 1900 to start looking for people that might be in here. Over here on the right, there's information about providing in association with the National Archives, and that's the NARA, National Archives and Record Administration. and browse this collection and do all that stuff. This is a little box where you type in stuff, and we'll come back and look at that. But I want to scroll down a little bit further and show you information about the source information here. This tells you about what's on the Revolutionary War records. And see, here's Ancestry.com, because they're the ones that actually own the website now. They bought it out, and all of the military records are on Ancestry and Fold 3, which is the Fold 3 stands for the third fold in the American flag. You know, when a vet dies, they fold the flag so it's in a triangular shape. The third fold represents family. Each fold represents something, and so Fold 3 is the name of the organization that Ancestry owns that has all the military records on it. So these records and many more are available on there. Here's the information about the U.S. Revolutionary War and bounty land warrant application files in that time period. And it'd be worth your while to read through this, because it gives you the information as to what kind of data is in here. It mentions in here that there are about 80,000 applications, but of course each application was for one military person, but it may have 10 kids listed on there, or even grandkids or spouses or and other sorts of things. And so you find hundreds of thousands of names besides the military in here. And so it's really worthwhile if you have anybody that lived in the U.S. in the time period of 1800 to 1900 to check this, because their name might be in here and you might find some information about it. I'll show you some of the things about Snow family that we've been looking at. Anyway, it goes through the details, gives you more information about what these are and what the pensions were, the different kinds of pensions that they had. Here's the pensions. They had a disability or an invalid pension for the soldier himself. Then they had service pensions awarded on the basis of the time served, and then the widow's pensions, and the kids after that, and so on. And you scroll down through this, take time to read this, because it's got some good information as to what kinds of records these are and what sorts of things you might expect to find in here. These bounty land warrants, they started giving the military people from the Revolutionary War property, and it tells how many acres. I think it was 100 acres for an enlisted man and 150 for an ensign, and so on. In the western part of the U.S. and the western part of the U.S. in those days was Ohio, and so a lot of the whole state of Ohio and probably Indiana and some of the others are bounty land warrant states, where many of the military were given free land in that area that they could go and farm. And so a lot of people did, from New England and from all over the colonies, went there because they got free land from the government. Anyway, this goes on with information about this. I'm still on that search page in Heritage Quest Online about the military records. Here's how to use the records, the kind of stuff you find. You can search for the state or the location, the city, and so on. We'll see examples of this in a minute. The applicant's name, the pension year, and the application year. Now, I hope that they had, and I don't know the answer to this, that all the rest of those names, I think all those names are in here, like if it's a spouse or if it's a kid, one of their children, I think those names have all been indexed. And that's why there's hundreds of thousands of names besides the 80,000 military personnel itself. But I don't know for sure that that's the case. Down here, down near the bottom, it gives you some of the codes that you see. They had a large card. It was a 10-inch by 14-inch card in a big envelope that they would list the kind of records that were there. And here's some codes here. S was a survivor's pension, so that was the guy himself. W was a widow's pension. R was a rejected. See, if the pension was rejected for any reason, that there wasn't enough details or something, you'll see an R in there. But in here, then there's bounty land. All this, the codes are in here as to what you might see. But you might find in here, they point out that the average size of these files are about 30 pages, but some are up to 200 pages. And there is all kinds of good stuff in here. In some cases, they had to send in marriage certificates, and they're in here to prove that the widow was married to the military guy. Or they tore out pages from the family Bible and sent those in as proof. Or a notarized statement or something like that. So you don't know what you're going to find in the records. And I'll show you some examples here in just a minute. Anyway, take time to read that information down there. Now, to search this thing, we've got our snow ancestry is from Massachusetts in 1645. Richard Snow is our snow ancestor. He married a woman named either Avis or Annis. I think it's Avis now because of the granddaughter named that, and I've seen the will in the Massachusetts archives. I've actually been back there to look for it, but we don't know where he came from. We always thought we did. We've been telling each other for all these years that yeah, he's from Barnstable, England, out in Devon, and so on. But there's no no proof for any of that. We claim, oh yeah, he's the Richard Snow that was down in the Caribbean, and then he came up here. That Richard Snow stayed down there for a while. We've been down to Barbados looking for anyway, lots of different things. But now he lived in 1645, and he had kids in around the 16. Well, he shows up in a tax record in 1645, and by this time he's got 2 kids. We don't know where they're born. We nor their ages, hence we don't know his wife's name, but they were of the age where they would have been not them, but their kids would have been in the Revolutionary War. So there's a chance that their kids would be in the Revolutionary War, and there might be some information in here. So the first thing I tried was this. I tried typing in here Snow, S-N-O-W. With nothing else. And you can, if you want exact, you can click exact and various other sorts of things, but start with a minimal amount of information and then narrow it down if you get too many hits. If you don't get too many hits, then you don't need to narrow it down. You can check them all. So without any states, anything else, our guy was in Massachusetts, but I'm going to just click search. Okay, so now this is live, so it's actually going out and searching. It came back and it said, okay, here we go. We're searching for the results for snow, and we found 63 records. All right, now here are the records. Now notice what we've got here. We've got the name. Here's one, Frost and Snow. Evidently, somebody named Frost married somebody named Snow. The pension application year was 1837. They were in North Carolina, and there's other information. It doesn't list the other applicants in there, but some of these do list the other applicants. Here's a James Snow. The pension year was 1819 in Maine, and Mary Snow is an applicant. So that's probably James Snow and Mary. Now, my John Snow, who's a son of Richard, married a Mary Green. So I was hoping that there was a John and a Mary Green in here, but there isn't. At least I haven't found it yet. Here's a Nehemiah Snow in Vermont with a Miriam. So that's probably a widow's pension too. And they don't list all the other names over here, but you do see, now here's a John from New Hampshire, and one of John's grandsons, I think it was, went up to New Hampshire, and could be him. So that's one I do need to take a look at. And so here's Jonah Snow. You just scroll down through these things, and these are all snow records that of the 80,000, there were 63 of them that involve snows. And you can check down here where it says the per page, it says show 20. I'm going to show 50. That'll be a little bit. Can I get 50, or maybe I can't get them down for the, oh, it's my stuff is covered up down there. Let me see if I can move it up here. Yeah, there we go. Click down here, there's 50. So now it's going to show 50 in a column. So This is showing results 1 to 50 of 63. So there'll only be 2 pages worth here on showing these. So I started looking down through these, and really, because there's not that many, I probably sometime ought to take time and go through every one of these and save off the file and see what's there. The problem is it's such a massive undertaking that I haven't ever done it, but I really should sometime. Here's a James Snow from Maine. Well, my James was from Massachusetts, but this could be one of the kids could have moved up there, so it's possible. You just don't know where these guys are from on this. I did find a Levi Snow in here, and Erastus Snow's father was Levi, and so there's Richard, but that's down in Virginia, so I doubt if that's my guy or even related. Where's that Levi? Here's Levi. So I want to illustrate it with this one. This was in 1833, and it was in Massachusetts, and so this is possibly my guy. Levi was about a great grandson of our Richard, and he was the dad of Erastus Snow and William Snow, and so on. And so it says, what do you want to do? You want to view the record? Oh, notice over here on the side it says view the record. I'm just hovering over that, and so it opens up this to tell me a little bit more about it. Oh, did I get the wrong one? Yeah, I got the wrong one. Yeah, that's Mary. Come on, there's Levi. Okay, here's Levi. And so it says Massachusetts survivor's pension application file. So this is about a Levi that was actually in the war. Well, that's not my guy, because my guy was later on, but it might be a descendant, so it'd be worthwhile looking at. Okay, so I'm going to click on view the record. I double clicked on view the record, and here it is. It gives me more details about the record itself as to where it was, and you begin to see over here on the left a little bit about what's in this file. Now, there's several things that you can do here to save this off. First of all, you can send the file home. You can send the document, but unfortunately, it only does 1 page at a time. And so if I click that send thing and put my email address in here, it will send it only to me. How's our time going? Oh boy. Oh, it's 4 o'clock. Oh gosh. Okay, I've got to hurry here. So if you do that, you can send 1 page at a time. I found it works better just to go up here where it says print, and well, let's see, is that the print? Yeah, print, and then it gave me some information about this, and then I could print and save it to PDF. And so I could 1 sheet of paper, so it's gonna save it to PDF. I won't take time to do that now because I've done that. I went through each page. In fact, I clicked on this over here where it shows the view thing. So here's the view. There's the card for Levi with the information about him. And then you see these little bars, these little arrows to click right and left here. If you click on those, now this is what I did now. I clicked save, and I saved it for Levi in a separate file folder. So each name I put in a separate file folder. Then after I'd clicked on that one to save this piece, then I clicked down here, move that over. Here's the next page, and I saved. Then I click down here, move that over. Now I'm hearing an echo. I don't know what that was. It was me speaking again. Then I clicked this thing a second time, and here's the well, you can actually move it up and down to see all this stuff's handwritten. And I saved that. I went page by page and saved off everything. Now look at this. This is going to be the hardest part of the whole thing, because it's all this old handwriting, this cursive, and you got to be able to read this stuff. And so I can read a good share of that, but not all of it, and without taking time to do it. Sometimes it helps to increase it, but once you've saved it off, then you can increase or decrease or add, correct the size of the darkness, and so on. And so you can save them all off, and that's what I did with this whole file. There were about I think it's only 8 or 10 pages in this file, and then it went on to somebody else. And so it would be worth your while to actually, whoops, I didn't mean to do that to get out, but probably it's about time we do. But once you get the main things searched, and for anybody that lived in that time period, you may find gold mines in here. You may find exactly what you need. We're hoping, we keep hoping we're going to find where this Richard Snow was from, because we don't know that. We always thought we did. And we told each other, yeah, this is it. But it's not true. At least there's no proof that that was true. All right. Okay. That's a quick run through of the pension records and searching it and what you can find. And there's more we could say, but what are your questions and comments? And those of you who are on Zoom, just click your microphone or hold down the space bar, and you'll be able to talk and ask a question.
Don?
Yep. Can't hear a question. Is somebody going to ask a question? Somebody started.
They muted again, Don.
I'm muted?
No, they are.
Oh, Don Becker. Oh.
Carolee may have a question. Carolee, you're unmuted.
Yeah. I know, working with these military records, when the National Archive filmed them, they did 2 filmings, and one is the complete set, and the other filming was what they felt was important. And so I was just wanting to know if you're aware of that. And
yeah, what I understand is that this is the set that they thought was important. Okay. So that's why it is not complete. I think at someplace in the notes I put that the whole set is available in on the ancestry stuff.
Okay. Oh.
But if you find something that's worthwhile here, this you can look at home without paying for it.
That's right.
And so if you find something to hear, then do check out for sure the whole thing, because there may be more in it.
I know I had an instance where they had left out an affidavit of a sister, and it gave the sister's married name. And so it was, to me, that was an important document, but they didn't feel it was important in that first filming. Yeah. That's exactly the case, that they made a judgment. And if you find your stuff, fine. Yeah.
But don't give up if you didn't find your stuff, because there may be more. Good. Yeah, thanks for that comment. Appreciate that. Any other questions or comments that anybody has? Or anything on Facebook, Gerhard?
No questions per se. We do have somebody watching, Betty from Ozaki, Kansas.
Oh, good. Okay, well, we're getting back in the Midwest. There's last night I heard that Midwest has got tornado watches out today because of all the problems with this severe weather. Okay, well, here's a summary of what we've looked at. We looked at the Heritage Quest online, the website, and that's available through a public library. And in most states, I think most states have probably done it, the whole state, so any public library card will work. And I've given you the link for the Utah one. So any public library card in Utah will get you into that one. The Revolutionary War pension records is what we looked at today. We looked a little bit about searching and finding stuff, and then screenshots and downloading. And it's too bad you can't download just the whole file itself without having to do it a single shot at a time, but that's the way they've got it. The video of this will be on YouTube and Facebook. Gerhard will have them both up there in the next little while, so they'll be available for you if you missed part of it or you want to go back and see any of it again. So that's the story on Heritage Quest online. This is part 1. 2 weeks from today, we'll talk about finding books online, and they've got in Heritage Quest, and they've got a lot of good books on particularly local histories, which are frequently have lots of genealogy stuff in them. And there's, I think it's 22,000 books that are available on there, and you can download any of those for free. So I thank you for your patience in listening and being with us today. And so we'll see you at a later date.